Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'll give you 2 seconds right now to click that subscribe button to help the channel grow. That way we both win. I get some encouragement while you get some lessons. All right, so if you have subscribed, thank you very much. So here what we want to do is hit the submit button and have this test submitted. Right now it asks the question, are you sure you want to submit? And if you click OK, then it refreshes the page because it sends a post request. But no, it's actually a get request because it's URL based. But what I wanted to be able to do is to warn you that you haven't finished answering your questions because this is not 100%. So if it's not 100%, it should say you have not completed answering your questions. Are you sure? And then if you want to insist, you can insist. Okay, so let's go to our code here and let's go to private views. I want to view the tech test tab view because this is where our thing is. Now there's a percentage here, right? This is a number without the percent sign. So let me copy that. I want to transfer this to our JavaScript. So the question is, how do you transfer information from PHP to JavaScript? The answer is actually very simple. There are several ways you can do this. You can use Ajax and use JSON, but we are going to use a simpler method where we just say var percent like this is equal to, and then we just put the PHP variable by using PHP tags like this. We echo it and close it like that. As simple as that. Now I need to put single quotes outside here and a semicolon at the end. Okay, so why does this actually work? Now the reason this works is like this. Now imagine if I had declared this percent in JavaScript and just put an actual number. Now even without the quotes, actually it can work because this is a number, so the quotes don't really matter actually. So let me remove them. Now imagine in a normal situation where I put percent and then I'll put a value here and just say 40 like this, right? So because this is text, it's going to get this variable, this percent, and add 40 to it. So this is straightforward, right? And then I can use this to check for something here. Now the reason this works as well is because remember that PHP runs on the server. The user, while JavaScript runs on the client side. So by the time the code leaves the server to go to the client side, which is somebody's device, this variable will not exist anymore because it's part of PHP, which runs on the server only. Instead of this variable, there will be a number 40. So by the time this text gets to the device where JavaScript starts running, there will be a number here and there won't be a variable. So this is why this is equivalent to this. However, because this is a variable, this will change accordingly. So this is why this works as well. So if you're saving text, you have to put it in quotes instead, like this. Otherwise, it would be like saying percent is equal to, and then you type something like this. So this wouldn't work unless you have quotes there, and then it becomes a string. So keep that in mind. So once we get this, we just need to check. So if we confirm and we cancel, if we get here, then it means things didn't work out. But if we get to this point, it means the person said yes. But then we can ask them again and say, are you sure you want to submit? They say yes. and then we check now to see, let's see here. Let's put another if statement here. So I'm going to say if percent is less than 100, like this. So if it's less than 100, then we have a problem. So let me put that there. So if the percent is less than 100, if it's equal to 100, this won't be true. So it will just bypass this. So we'll ask the question, are you sure? If it's equal to 100, then it will bypass this. But if it's less than 100, then we get to ask the question. So you have only answered, and then we put the percent there. Okay. Now instead of having to, anyway, we can just go out and back into the text here, no problem. So let's put percent, and then I'll put an actual percent sign here. So you have only answered whatever percent of the test. Continue. Oh wait, are you sure you want to submit? Are you still sure? Okay, then you can say yeah or nay. So if you're sure that's yes, then we forget. If you cancel, then we return. So let's see that in action. Okay, so I'm going to refresh, and if I now click here and say are you sure you want to submit, if I say cancel, then nothing goes forward. If I say okay, then it will tell me you have only answered 87.5% of the test. Are you still sure you want to continue? Cancel, then I cancel. Let's see if I say okay on both, then it refreshes. Okay, so hopefully that is understood what's going on. And now once we submit, we should make these things disappear. But first of all, let's make the code that will change things in the database. So if we go to the database here, where there's SchoolDB, and let's go to the answered tests, and we just need to change this submitted from 0 to 1. That's it. So let's go to the controller, and this is the tech test controller. The same way I think there's something we did here for, no, it's not for tech test. That issue was inside single test view. There's a part where we're disabling. So I'm just going to copy this because it's very similar to what we want to do. Then go back to tech tests, and let's see here. So I need a few items here. The first thing I need is the author ID. So let me see if there's a place where I already have the ID so I don't have to get it again, but no luck whatsoever. It is here, but I don't want to mess with these arrays here. Now you can put this anywhere you want. So let's try right above here. Let's see. Or let's go down here. Why not? So I'm just going to say if it's a test submit, paste. Okay, let's remove the disable. So if this is let me Control D and change that to submit. This one is submitted. Okay, so it was important to have the row already there so that we can check through there. Now this is not the row I'm looking for. I'm looking for this one. Where is it? Saved. No, is it? These are all questions. Page tab. What am I looking for here? Wait a second. Should be answered questions. Total questions. So it seems here I'm not getting. No, actually I am. Saved answers. No, I'm only getting saved answers here. So what I need is to be able to read this row as well so that I can check. Now I may actually not need to read it. I can just go directly because there should only be one test ID and one user ID per test. So I can just do an update and say set submitted is equal to 1, where because we can only submit this once. So submitted is equal to 1, where user ID is equal to my ID and test ID is equal to the current test ID. So no need to know the details before creating the query. So we can do that right here. Now, no need for this either because we don't need to check anything. So we just need a query. So just say update answered questions. That's the table. Answered tests actually. So answered underscore tests, then set submitted double T, I think. Yes. So set submitted is equal to 1, where let me change this ID thingy, where test ID is equal to test ID and user ID is equal to full colon user underscore ID. Limit 1 is okay, and then we'll use the tests model, that's okay, to run the query. And then here we need two things. We need the test ID. Actually the test ID is just the ID at the top there. So let me do this. This is the ID that comes with the function at the very top here. So no big deal. We just put ID there, and let's just say user underscore ID because that's what we called it here. No, actually this is the test ID, sorry. And then let's put a comma and add the user ID as well. So comma, and let's change user ID here. Now for the user ID, of course, I will get whoever is logged in at the time because they're the only ones that should be able to submit a test, not anybody else. So there we go. So once we do that, that should be it. So let me come back here and let's give it a test run. So submit, are you sure? Yes. Am I sure? Yes. So now if I refresh this, I should see a 1 here, which I do see, and that is awesome. For now, all I need to do is mute the content here. Let's go down here. I need to have these not editable once there's a submit. But in order for that to happen, we have to read this row. That's the only way we'll know whether submit is 1 or 0. And once we do that, then we can mute these guys. And the save answers as well should be ignored. Okay, so let's do that in the next video.